Hey everybody, it's Mrs. C, and I am coming to you today with a quick video. Hopefully, when I say quick, it's usually about a half hour, but anyway, I want to do a quick video with you on consecutive integers. And so I'm just going to jump right into it. If you're doing problems that are asking you to solve for a certain amount of consecutive integers, for even or odd consecutive integers, I just wanted to give you a little bit of a heads up as to how to set these up. So let's just jump right in. Find two consecutive integers whose sum is 61. So one thing you need to know about consecutive integers is when you hear about a consecutive integer, you would know two things. Number one, consecutive. Numbers that are consecutive. 1, 2, 3. Consecutive even numbers. 2. Oh my goodness, there we go. 2, 4, 6. Consecutive odd. 3, 5, and 7. So consecutive, in a word you could say, well, in a couple words you could say consecutive means in a row, right? In a row. So in order or in a row. And the integer part, so consecutive meaning in a row, integer meaning a whole number. Okay, a whole number including 0. So including. These are for all my peeps out there that like to watch my video. Include 0 without any volume. So I'm just writing a few notes. It's been known to be said that people watch these videos without actually listening to me. So what are you saying, really? What are you trying to tell me? Okay, so anyway, consecutive meaning in a row, and integers meaning whole numbers that include 0. So if I was just going to maybe do that one more time, let me see, I'm trying to give us a few more examples, some more examples of consecutive integers, possibly, what do you think, maybe -6, -5, -4, okay, in a row. What about other consecutive even? 10, maybe 8, and 6. You don't have to go up, you can go down. And odd, we could say 9, 11, 13. So these are consecutive even, consecutive odd, or just plain consecutive. So once you know that, that's like half the battle right there. How do you find consecutive integers if you don't know what they are or where to start? Well, pretty much that's the world of algebra, not knowing where to start. So where do you start? You start with what you don't know. So in this case, what we don't know is the number that we're starting with. And in algebra, if we don't know it, we call it x. So that's my first number. So say, for example, my consecutive integers were 5 and 6. This is two consecutive integers. I would start with 5, right? And then how would I get to 6? Well, 5 plus 1 is 6. So the second integer, algebraically, would be represented as x plus 1. Meaning, if you know your first number, x, all you have to do is add 1 to it, x plus 1, to get the next number. So if my number was 5, 5, and then 5 plus 1 would be 6. So my two consecutives would be 5 and 6. But I don't know if anybody's thinking this. 5 plus 6, the sum of the two integers, does not equal 61. 5 plus 6 is 11, not 61. So how do we figure out what two numbers that are in a row would actually give us 61? Well, pretty simple, guys. If these are the two numbers, add them together. So what's x plus 1? It's 2x plus 1, right? And if those sums, if the sum of those two numbers is 61, then I set up a little equation that the 2x plus 1 equals 61. Simply put, from this point on, right, you just solve for x. 2x equals 60, divide by both sides. Can't talk, excuse me. Can't write and I can't talk. What the heck? X is going to be equal to 60 divided by 2, which is x is equal to 30. If x was actually equal to 30, would my original situation work out? This would be 30, and this would be 30. It says x is equal to 30. So my two numbers would be 30 and 30 plus 1, 31. Those would be my two consecutive integers. And isn't it true that 30 plus 31 is 61? Yes, it is. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. I love that. I just totally love it. All right, now, let's try another situation. Let's go to the next page. Whoa, that's the wrong page. Excuse me, you didn't see that. All right, say for example, I wanted to find 3, not 2, but 3 consecutive, I'll abbreviate because I don't have this typed, consecutive odd integers. And their sum, I'm just going to write they equal. That's probably not very good. Let me write their sum. I don't want to be lazy. Their sum is, I'm making it up. Oh gosh, wait, let me think. I'm thinking of an odd number. And then I'm going to do their... got it. Their sum is 15. Sorry, had to do the work there. Okay. How would I set up a situation that would give me an algebraic setup for consecutive odd? Meaning odd numbers skip over, right? You count by odd numbers, you count 5, 7, 9. You're skipping over the evens. So number one, I would start with the number, whatever my odd number is. Say, for example, my odd number is 11. Okay, x is going to represent 11. So if the next consecutive integer after 11, the consecutive odd, is 13, what would I do to 11 to get 13? I'd add 2, right? 11, 12, 13. So x plus 2, meaning 11, say, plus 2 would be 13. That would give me the next one. Well, say I started again with 11 and I want to get to the next one. So this would be 11 to 13. This would be 13 to what? 15, exactly. So to go from x, which we think maybe is 13, how do I get to the third? Well, it would be x plus 4. So you start with the first one, counting up by 2s because you're skipping over whichever one you don't want, in this case the evens. Once you've set that up, and this, by the way, my dear friends, is the same setup for evens and odds, just so you know. If I know that the sum of these 3, because it's not 11, right? What's 11 plus 13? I'm already over 15, so it can't be 11. I just made that number up. What would I do with these numbers? Well, the sum of these numbers is 15. So let's find out what the sum of these numbers is. X plus x plus x is 3x. And 2 plus 4 is 6. I know that the sum of those is 15. All I need to know is, what is x? If I minus my 6, I get 9 on this side. And look at that. Divide both sides by 3. Such an easy equation, right? You could x equals 3. X equals 3. Well, then what's all of these things if x was equal to 3? Well, the first one is 3. What's 3 plus 2? 5. What's 3 plus 4? Oh my gosh, 7. Isn't it so cool how those work out? I love them. I just love them. I don't know why. Consecutive integers. Awesome. Okay, I'm almost out of time. I said it was going to be a quick one, but I want to do one more. Oh my gosh, another. You can see I was shooting another video, can't you? I'm using an old slide. Okay, so let's say in this case, what shall we do? Want to do consecutive even? Why not? All right, so let's do, oh my gosh, let's do 5. Let's do 5 consecutive, even this time, integers, of course, because we want whole numbers, whose sum is, hold on one second, let me think, whose sum is negative. We haven't done a negative. Whose sum is negative. My pen's not working. Hang on. Negative 30. It's like, am I recording? Okay, so we're going to find 5 consecutive even integers whose sum is negative 30. Oh my gosh, can we have negative even numbers? Absolutely. You can have negative numbers. You can have negative even numbers. You can have non-integer negative. Well, you can't have decimal integers, but you can have negative and positive integers, and you can have even and odd negatives. So just as a side note, if you were wondering, can even and odd numbers be negative? I Googled it, people. They can. All right, so here we go. Consecutive even. Now you remember, whether you do even or odd, you've got to skip over either the even or the odd. In this case, even. So if I'm starting with an even number, I always start with x. Doesn't matter if it's even or odd. If I add 2, I'll get to the next even or odd. Watch. And anybody who's not listening to the volume, I don't even know how you're going to know what I'm doing here. If I start with an even number, say 6, and I add 2 to it, 6, 7, 8, I get 8, right? And if I start with 6 and I add 4, I get 10. And if I start with 6 and I add 6, I get 12. So I add 2, right? Then add 4, then add 6. I'm just skip counting. That's all I'm doing. Adding 2, 4, 6 is getting me to the next consecutive even. But here's the really cool part. If I start with an odd number, 5, if I add 2, not an odd number, if I add 2, I get 7. If I add 4 to 5, I get 9. If I add 6 to 5, I get 11. I get consecutive odd or consecutive even by adding 2, 4, 6, by adding evens. They're helping me skip count over the one that I don't want. So just as a side note, as an algebra teacher, I see a lot of mistakes, right? One of the all-time biggest mistakes ever in algebra is when you're doing consecutive integers and you're asked for odd. People, instead of doing x plus 2, x plus 4, they give me x plus 1, x plus 3, x plus 5, because those are odd numbers. No! People, stop the madness. That's not how you do it. It doesn't work. If it worked, I'd do it. It doesn't. So if I'm doing 5, I start x, right? X plus 2, x plus 4. What's next? X plus 6. And lastly, 1, 2, 3, 4. I need x plus 8. I'm going to have to do that many to get 5 consecutive integers whose sum is negative 30. So what do I do to all of these? Add them. What's x plus x plus x plus x plus x? 5x. What's 2 plus 4 plus 6 plus 8? Well, it's 20. And that is equal to a negative 30. Remember, their sum is negative 30. Simple. Minus the 20. I have 5x equal a negative 50. Divide by 5, divide by 5. X looks to be equal to what? 10. Negative 10. Now, let me clear some stuff off here. I know my x is equal to negative 10. So let me write that down with a little more room. I know x is a negative 10. Now, if x was a negative 10, what's a negative 10 plus 2? It's negative 8. Be careful of getting negative 10. That's the second most popular mistake. Starting at negative 10 and giving me all the... Oh. Wow. It's amazing how time flies when you're together, right? When you're having fun, you're doing math, integers, nothing like consecutive integers to wake you up in the morning outside of a cup of coffee. So, just in closing, when you find that the x value is equal to a negative number, say for example a negative 10. What I was saying was one of the other all-time most popular mistakes is to go negative 10 and then automatically negative 12, negative 14, and then go up, which is really down, right? If you're going to go up in numbers, if you're negative, you're going down in value. So to 10, 12, 14, 16, and that's not what happens. Look here. If x is a negative 10, negative 10 plus 2 is actually negative 8. You are going up in value, but you're getting closer to 0. So this would then be negative 6, negative 4, negative 2. Can you do that without doing the math? Sure, of course. Well, you are doing the math. You're just kind of doing it in your head because you know consecutive integers. Double check that last one. Negative 10 plus 2, 8, excuse me. Negative 10 plus 8 is a negative 2. So these are the 5 consecutive even integers whose sum is negative 30. You can verify. Negative 10, negative 8 is a negative 18, plus another negative 10, which is a negative 28, plus this negative 2 is negative 30. That's too much negative in the morning for me. Okay, so there's an overview of consecutive integers. So what we're going to do in a future video very soon, I'm going to have some people come and help me out with some practice problems. And I want you to see what the practice problems look like, because I believe it's always important to, well, I don't have to erase this. I think it's always important to kind of see where it's going. So this is the start. But where are we going? Well, this is where we're going. Oh, the magic of a screencast. This is where we're going, people. So if you look at problems like this, I think there's a little piece here. Something got cut off over here. There it is. That little problem got cut off. If we take a look at any of these, so I'll just kind of circle maybe this one. Let's focus on this one just for a quick second. I'm not doing this. This will be in my next video. Find 3 consecutive integers such that the sum of the first 2 integers is 24 more than the third integer. Now, I know some of you can't help but tackle a challenge and you want to try. So please feel free to try any of these, even if you don't know quite how you would attack it. And then on the next video that I post with some friends, we're going to actually work through some of these, some questions, talk about concerns, and so it should be a really interesting one. I'm excited. So I won't be alone. I'm always alone, and it's going to be nice to have some friends. I'll go find some friends. So until then, I hope this helped you out with consecutive integers, and you know what? Until I see you again, I will see you on the flip side. Peace out.